Hello, and welcome to Federal Flash, the Alliance for Excellent Education's video series on important developments in education policy in Washington, D.C., in 5 minutes or less. I'm Rachel Bird-Niebling, and I'm joined by Monica Almond. This week, the U.S. Department of Education reached another milestone in its road to regulation of the Every Student Succeeds Act, or ESSA, when it released proposed regulations on assessments and the Innovative Assessment Pilot. Viewers may remember that ESSA retains the No Child Left Behind Act's testing schedule, which includes one test in high school. ESSA requires the high school test to be, quote, locally selected and nationally recognized, end quote, but does not define what this means. In the proposed rules it released this week, the department defines such a test as one that must be administered in multiple states and be used for determining post-secondary entrance or placement. For the proposed regulations for the Innovative Assessment Pilot, we'll turn to Monica.
As required under ESSA, up to 7 states or consortia of states can participate in the Innovative Assessment Pilot. The department's proposed regulations aim to clarify some of the requirements these states must meet. For example, states could use flexibility under the pilot to implement new assessments in all or selected tested grades and subjects. That means that a state may propose to implement an innovative assessment in just science or only for elementary school grades. States must also have a plan for ensuring the innovative assessments are as rigorous as the statewide standardized assessments. The department outlines 4 options for how states can meet this requirement. Regarding timing, districts do not have to implement the innovative assessments in all schools at once. Instead, they can decide to implement in a sample of schools as long as the state ensures eventual implementation in all schools and districts.
Thanks, Monica. More information about the proposed regulations on assessments and the Innovative Assessment Pilot can be found at the link below. The proposed regulations are expected to be published in the Federal Register next week, followed by a 60-day period during which the department will accept public comments. Meanwhile, on Capitol Hill this week, the House Education Committee unanimously approved bipartisan legislation introduced last week to renew the Carl D. Perkins Career and Technical Education Act. Monica, tell us about the markup.
Absolutely. Judging by the unanimous 37-0 vote, the process to reauthorize Perkins has been less contentious than the process to reauthorize No Child Left Behind, at least in the House, where there was essentially no debate during markup. The committee-approved bill titled Strengthening Career and Technical Education for the 21st Century Act focuses on preparing all students, particularly those that are traditionally underserved, to succeed in post-secondary education that leads to high-skill, high-wage careers. The Senate, however, has not presented a comprehensive bill of their own, and with limited time left on the congressional calendar before the next administration, it is unclear as to whether or not we will have a new CTE law in the foreseeable future.
Finally, this week the House Appropriations Subcommittee on Education passed their spending bill for fiscal year 2017. The bill makes a huge $1.3 billion cut in total funding for the U.S. Department of Education, dramatically higher than the $220 million cut that the Senate Appropriations Committee included in the bill it passed earlier this summer. On a positive note, the House Subcommittee's bill provides $1 billion to fund ESSA's student support and academic enrichment grants. This is significantly higher than the $300 million that the Senate Appropriations Committee provided, but still less than the $1.6 billion that ESSA authorizes for the program. Funding from this program is expected to cover everything from access to a well-rounded education, to improving school conditions for student learning, to digital learning. If the program receives less than the $1.6 billion authorized for it, the funding will be spread more thinly across many priorities, and if districts receive less than $30,000 to implement the program, they do not have to adhere to the priorities of the program. Given the short time remaining before Congress recesses for the summer and the looming October 1st date for the start of the fiscal year, Congress is most likely headed towards a temporary funding mechanism called a continuing resolution. Such an approach would maintain this year's funding levels until Congress passes a final spending bill for fiscal year 2017, likely after the election or even next year. For an email alert when our next episode is available, email us at alliance@allfored.org. Thanks for watching.